Welcome to Three Steps. This is Michael. Michael, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'd love to introduce myself. Thank you, John. Hi, my name is Michael. I am a board member of 5 different corporations. I'm a business developer, so I'm CEO, C-suite on several different corporations. We manage several limited partnerships and LLCs, and our focus is on investment, real estate, and also personal development.
Right on. Thank you. Well, let's get into it. The first question I usually ask is, what does masculinity mean to you?
Masculinity doesn't represent a meaning to me. It's basically who I am as a male individual. There's a lot of hypocrisy in that word itself. There's a lot of hypocrisy. So basically, for me, what it means is that I'm true to what I say. That my yes means yes, my no means no, that I can be strong and I can be weak at the same time. It's that capability of being an individual that helps others become who they are.
Nice. Well done. So you used the word hypocrisy twice. What does hypocrisy mean to you so they can understand?
I believe that in my experiences as a young man, males that I grew up with thought that masculinity had to be, let's carry the shovel, let's bury the bodies, let's do the fighting, let's beat up the women, let's manifest our dominance over them. And so that's just not, I think that's a hypocrisy about what masculinity is about. To me, that's what it meant.
What does it mean to be a man?
Well, being a man, that's a whole different thing. Oh, man.
Right.
You know, let me tell you, I'm 62 years old.
Okay.
I'm just now coming into that wisdom area.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can actually understand how to answer the question.
Ooh, you've got my full attention now.
So, you know, being a man is exactly what being masculine is about. They're inseparable as far as the values and standards that I place on the masculinity and the person that's that man. And then there's humanity, which is, you know, what we are all driven here on this earth to be purposed into bettering humanity.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense, man. It makes a lot of sense to me. That's good stuff.
It's a realization. 5 years ago, I couldn't answer that question that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been married for almost 18 years now.
Yeah.
And even 5 years ago, my thought process, my paradigm was leaning towards the masculinity that I grew up with, not the one I have today.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to let you know, this is not something that's automatic. There's no switch on it.
Yeah.
It's just something that you learn through time and experience, I think.
What does it mean to be an adult?
Oh, I know some 12-year-olds. You know, I've got 12-year-old kids that are actually more adult than most 40-year-old kids that I know. So to be an adult, you know what? I can't answer that question. I know what it's like to be a kid, and I want to continue that throughout my life. Being an adult means responsibility, right?
Okay. Does it? I don't know.
Well, and that's the question, right? Because, like I said, there's 12-year-old kids that I know that are quite responsible for whatever their actions are, and even 7-year-olds that declare what they want in life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's being an adult.
Yeah.
As opposed to just wandering through life and not understanding exactly what you're up to or what you're going to be doing. And I know 50 and 60-year-olds that are in that same position. They're just wandering around in life, not knowing what they're doing. So are they adult? It's for me, it's a concept that doesn't fit who they are.
Yeah. Right on. That's a fair answer. It's a very fair answer. When you were young, you had this idea of the kind of man you wanted to grow into, or the kind of man you didn't want to grow into. Did you become that man?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
This is good.
Until I had to pass some tests first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I was 15, I made a commitment to myself that I was never going to get married. I was never going to have children. I was never going to be a father until I first had a house that was paid for, that I had 2 cars in a garage that were paid for, and I had a job that would support that. I failed at that miserably. So
what a game you set for yourself, man.
I did. You know, I said, you know, I've watched, even at 15, I saw so much in other people that was unhappiness. and misunderstanding. The things that people think that are their lifetime goals or achievements,
Right.
that once they realize them, that's not their purpose.
Yeah.
And then they're lost. They're just straight up lost. And so I guess at the age of 15, I saw that. And I said, how do I prevent that? And that was my method of preventing that, was to never be even in a position where I thought I would be able to get married until I had all the financial issues resolved.
Right.
It wouldn't be a subject of controversy. It wouldn't be a concern of my mate, whether she was going to have a meal on her table or whether there was going to be a bed to sleep in or even a blanket. And I grew up in a military family.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of times on GI cots with GI blankets.
Yeah.
And a lot of days without meals. That there was, and so that wasn't the life I wanted to bring my kids into.
Right.
So I made those commitments.
Yeah.
I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I got to the age of 23.
Yeah.
I had a job, but then you met this girl, and then you think you love this girl, and then all of a sudden she's going to have a child, and now you're in a marriage situation, and then you're like everybody else that's or like many other people that missed that goal.
Yeah, totally understandable. So you're a dad. I didn't realize. Yeah. How many kids?
I have 3 of my own. We have 6 kids together with my wife, my second wife, and we have 6 going on 7 grandchildren.
Holy macaroni. Nice. So you're a granddad too.
Grandpa too.
Right on. Good on you, man. So this is opportunity here, guys. What does fatherhood mean to you?
Oh, that was a hard lesson for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it match your initial idea?
My father was military. My father was gone 7-8 months out of the year for the 18 years I was growing up.
Yeah.
So truthfully, I had no idea what a father was about. He says, I think he said he loved me, maybe a dozen times.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I remember. He might have said it a million times.
Yeah.
I only remember a few. In most cases, when he came home from TDYs and from places where he's been overseas, Vietnam, a lot of times he flew gunships and that kind of stuff in Vietnam. You never knew whether he was going to come home, when he was going to come home, or in what shape he was going to be when he came home.
Right.
So the father figure just never really materialized in me as an element that I thought I would be able to achieve.
Right.
And then this interesting circumstance occurs, which someone says to you that you're going to be a father. And everything changes at that exact moment.
So what specifically changed for you in that moment? Because I hear that phrase bandied a lot about fatherhood, but what specifically changed inside of you?
Responsibility, encouragement, drive. What am I going to teach that child? What can I show that child? How am I going to represent myself to that child? How can I be the best that I can be in front of that child?
Yeah.
Not as a father so much, but as the man, as a part of humanity. What am I going to be able to teach that child? What can I show them?
Yeah.
And that's when you start realizing that you haven't achieved your life goal. You haven't achieved any of your dreams.
Right.
So there is this huge conflict, and at least it was in me, that there was a large conflict about who I was going to be as a father and who I am today as a man. And how do I achieve what I really want to do as a father?
Right.
Where do I have to go? What do I have to do to become that person who's going to be a father that I think is going to be good to that child? Weird.
That's a big thinking there. It's a big internal reframing that has to happen.